Hello and welcome to the next round of the ZFRL All Rounder Championship by Zafiralis. Tonight we're at round 5 at Fern Bay Black. You're watching Sim Broadcasts and this is Live for Speed. And let's get straight into things, shall we? Because we've just had a qualifying session which is just coming to a close now. We have some 12 drivers who are going to be putting the UFR around this track, and that is going to be a sight to behold. Here we are at Fern Bay Black, 6.6 kilometers, 4.1 miles, the longest standard configuration at Fern Bay, and we're going to be doing 18 laps of curb hopping with the UFR, which is a tin top. It's a 1.4 litre inline front engine, front wheel drive car weighing just over half a tonne with 180 brake horsepower. And yeah, it's prone to flipping, so hopefully the drivers have done plenty of practice, plenty of setup tweaking to ensure that this thing remains planted on all four wheels for the 40-ish minutes of racing that we expect this evening. And yeah, this is round 5 of a 12-round championship that ZFRL have put together throughout the year in their all-rounder championship. And the way it works is that we have pretty much every environment in Live for Speed, and we choose 3 tracks. And we use 3 cars, one with slick tyres, one with dirt tyres, and one with road tyres. And tonight, of course, at Fern Bay Black, we are going to be using the fully slick tyres in the UFR. Next time out, I'm excited to tell you, in June for round 6, it's going to be the Acosta Starlin at Fern Bay Rallycross, a mod by Martin Capel that we've seen a couple of times on the channel before, but this time being put through its paces on its home turf. The Lancia Stratos inspired Acosta Starlin will end up at Fern Bay Rallycross, and we look forward to seeing that. Let's look quickly at the championship standings. It's Thamuli, the home favourite, who is leading the way ahead of Mantas, who is here tonight and has snatched pole position. Then we've got Asker, Mandula, Gabor, Soini, Roni, Motomakari, Magic and Rex, your top 10. And yeah, we've got a couple of pages of results for you. 27 drivers having already set scored at least a point in the championship this year, and we hope to see many more names joining us as we head through the summer and into the later months of the year when the championship starts to hot up towards the end. So please, if you do fancy joining in with this one, then join us on a Monday evening once a month for ZFRL All Rounder Championship. All right, I think the drivers are getting ready in the background, and this is the way that they're going to line up on the grid. It's going to be Mantas, Thamuli, Motomakari and Lorenzo, but I'll let you see for yourself as we head to the track. So the driver's going to get underway very, very quickly. The lights are already on. And we are green for 18 laps of racing around Fern Bay Black with the UFR, and let's see how many of them are still left standing at the end, because as we know, this car does like a bit of a flip, as we've got Yasin going for an early move around the outside of Timu Soini there, and Lorenzo sneaking through as well. Single file as we go through the first chicane, but it is Mantas with a fantastic start. He leads the 2 ZFRL drivers, currently Thamuli leading out Motomakari as they head down towards the back straight then. Very well turned out liveries for these 2 boys as they try to keep the championship alive and hopefully won't let Mantas run away. But all that seems to be happening right now is a gap is opening up quite quickly as we've got Brecker going for a move on Red Fox into the first major corner that we have, and that's the right-hander off of the bridge section as we head up to Fern Bay Green now. Familiar territory for the viewers because we were here last time a month ago, and pretty much exactly the same corners, but this time you can see the cars skipping over those curbs. That is going to be the theme of the evening. How many of these drivers are going to be able to make it to the end once they've been over these curbs a few more times than that? Well, Mantas has got so much clear air, he's almost opened up 2 seconds. In fact, he has opened up 2 seconds over Thamuli now as we run around the back part of the circuit for the first time today. And Mantas looking very, very strong. Here's Lorenzo for race screen, currently P4, just ahead of his teammate Roni. And if you stay tuned all the way to the end of this broadcast, we've got an announcement to make featuring Lorenzo and Roni and hopefully you listening. So stay tuned for that. and see how the race green boys get on. Magic's not qualified particularly well, or rather hasn't started very well. He's down in P9. Got a lot of laps left to climb up the order. As Mantas is already in the final sector in his Born to Race livery. Doing a mega job already in this race. And almost 3 seconds he has opened up over the rivals. As he runs out all the way to the edge of the track. And we've now got Roni looking to make a move on Lorenzo. Up on 2 wheels over the final corner, and that's easily through for Roni there in his mystery machine. And we've got our first roll. It's Brecker, final corner. First casualty, didn't even manage to complete 1 lap. And he is out of here, unfortunately. So a roll for Brecker, and Red Fox has pit and rejoined, so he's already a lap down. So 9 cars on the lead lap after race 1. And it's Mantas with a 3-second lead over Thamuli for the ZFRL team. Closely followed by his teammate, Mika Sarkkinen. Easily does it through the first chicane. Oh, a little bit better there for Thamuli. Mika a little bit more tentative. And Thamuli is live on Twitch for those who want to pop up a few onboard shots during this race. He's live at Thamuli_ on Twitch, and there is his point of view. It's not Mika Sarkkinen, it's Motta McCarry. That's a slip of the tongue for me, and Motta McCarry gets up on 2 wheels and has a bit of a wobble. Apologies for that, Motta McCarry. I thought I was seeing that Mika was here, but he's not. As that will have cost him a bunch of time, and potentially the race green boys are going to catch up and maybe try to get a spot on the podium. But so far it seems that Roni has the pace of the race green team. Doing a stellar job. But as we come out of the final corner once again, it's Mantas leading the way. Almost 5 seconds adrift after 2 laps as we go on to lap 3 now. Or round number 5. Smooth as you like for Mantas. Thamuli. Plenty of curb. Let's see how the rest of them do it. I think Motta McCarry has lost a bit more time, and I can hear, yeah, you can even just see that Roni is starting to creep into the shot as Red Fox rejoins from the pit lane again. Not having much luck staying on the track, it seems, but you can use it as an extended test day if you want. As now, Roni is really closing up to the back of Motta McCarry and potentially wants to take that 3rd place early on. But he's going to have to work a bit harder. Still has to get through Motta McCarry. Oh, as Mantas takes a pretty aggressive chicane, he's pushing very, very hard, runs off onto the grass. Probably a little bit unnecessary to be pushing that hard, considering the gap that he's already got over Thamuli. But there we go, Mantas clearly out to race himself this evening, as well as everybody else here. We watch Roni now, trying to close up. He is bringing Lorenzo with him, and Soini's there in the background too. But we are going to see some action here, whether it be on this lap or the next. That is going to allow the Muli to hold on to P2 hold on to P2 a little bit more firmly. Oh, Zafiralis again able to hold the two-wheel driving for a respectable amount of time, but thumping back down onto four wheels. And still, he tries to close up to the back of the Zafiralis machine. Only 600 kilograms, the UFR, and quite a lot of that weight is above the wheelbase, so it is prone to going up onto two wheels and more than that, especially through the final sector where we've already lost one of the drivers tonight. Roni avoiding the big curbs at all costs, which, if you're not confident the car's going to stay planted, is probably the way to go. But this fight is neutralised for the time being, as Motimikari able to keep the gap on lap 3. The gap between Mantas and Thamuli is stretched to 5.3 seconds at the previous timing line, as we continue to watch Roni and Lorenzo on their pursuit towards the podium. And Team Soini is still there as well. From third place to P6, fairly close still. You see them all in the same camera shot briefly there. And, well, the gap back to Magic is troublingly big now. So potentially just trying to find some sort of rhythm in this race. And hopefully we see him making an appearance on the scene later on. As Roni, again, another uncomfortable chicane, loses a bit of time to Thamuli, as we've got somebody over. Is it Lorenzo? It is. Lorenzo is out. Onto two wheels and then over again. And out of the race goes Lorenzo. And we are down to just 8 drivers on the lead lap. So a big error very early on in the race for an experienced driver, it has to be said. So we're down to just 2 race green cars now. And Roni is somewhat on his own in the pursuit of Motimikari. Roni's gone for the softer compound on the front tyres. He's running R3s. Everyone else is choosing R4s for the fronts. So Roni potentially will have better tyre life, or rather more useful tyres as we approach the end of this one, as the R4s won't really ever get much temperature in them, as Roni runs wide, compromises his line, gets a slide on. Oh, it's gone all wrong for him. Could bring it would have brought Lorenzo back into it, but Lorenzo's gone, so it's just left to Soini. But again, drivers finding the UFR surprisingly difficult, as we're going to watch Mantas complete yet another lap completely unimpeded. 6 seconds his lead after 4 laps of racing, and we are down to just 9 cars. Here's Thamuli again. Live on Twitch at Thamuli_. You can pull up his onboard alongside the main stream. A number of drivers provide their onboard footage for us to relay on the channel, which we appreciate. As Soini has had some trouble at the first chicane and has lost a ton of time to Roni. So that gap that was just over a second has extended out to, well, let's say more than that for now, until we get a time update. Yeah, Soini is in trouble. It looks like he's pulling over or something. Yeah, he's stopping. And why is that? Is there a technical issue, or is he just letting Magic go? Unusual. Unsure what that was about. But anyway, Soini losing a place to Magic now. And having been down in P9 a moment ago, Magic is now up to P5. Soini nearly rolls it through the chicane. We missed it on the cameras, but two wheels aplenty. Yasin through the chicane as well. Bit of damage on the front right of his car. Not too much, just superficial. Possibly coming into contact with a few too many tyre stacks. Carrying a little bit of suspension damage. But we will see how he manages. Yeah, the right front tyre on Yasin's car, I don't know if you can see, if we can maybe get a little bit of a closer camera angle through the next corner, you can see that the front right tyre is pointing the wrong way. The camber is completely wrong on there, pointing outwards. There you go, you can see it more clearly there. So that car has had an absolute whack into a wall somewhere. And that front right tyre is going to be crying. As we've got Cubs in the grass, that's just after the wall section. That's the big wall. And he's gone off and has hit the barrier with the front right hand side. So that's potentially how Yasin did it. And Cubs is struggling now. Can't go around any left-handers at all. And may want to think about doing a pit stop. As we pick up Mantas. Reminder to the viewers, this is Zafiralis All Rounder Championship. Tonight we are at the Fern Bay environment in Live for Speed testing out slick tyres. And next time out we're going to be testing rallycross tyres with the Acosta Starlin mod at Fern Bay Rallycross, which will use this home straight that Mantas is currently on, and will turn left at this chicane instead of going straight on. And Mantas is absolutely flying. 10 seconds almost the gap after just 5.5 laps of racing. That is an absolutely huge gap to have opened up so early in this race. Thamuli is 5 seconds ahead of his teammate, just over 5.5 seconds. But it may yet get close again. We will be a third of the way through the race at the end of this lap. So at this point the drivers are going to be weighing up their options, scoping out the competition around them. And one such thing we can report on is that Magic is ever so slowly reeling in his teammate, Roni. Well, here comes Magic onto the home straight now, and we'll get an update on the gap between himself and Roni to see just about what it is. There goes Roni over the timing line, and Magic will be coming across now as well. There he goes, 3.43 seconds. So let's keep an eye on that, see how it develops. As we've got Yasin in the pit lane, presumably to repair the tyre damage. Almost certainly. Right front minor damage being repaired, and back on his way. 13.3 second pit stop, and still comes out way ahead of Cubs, who is likely to be going in the pit lane at some point as well, with the damage that they've managed to pick up on their car. But no damage as yet to be reported on Mantas's car. Looks to be driving a very, very clean race to begin with. Approaching halfway. Likewise for Thamuli and Motomakari. Clean as a whistle for those 3 cars. Yeah, Roni continuing to be put under a bit of pressure from his teammate Magic, and Soini's also closing up again, so maybe we're going to see a fight for P4 developing soon. Almost a second, the gap has come down between Magic and Roni, and Soini is definitely being pulled in as well, so we will have to wait and see. Although we don't have an onboard for you, Magic should be, normally is live on YouTube. As Mantas gets another fastest lap. 2:34.43. Another gauntlet thrown down for the other drivers. As across the timing line comes Mantas, and the gap now 14 seconds, 13.75. Still throwing everything at it through the first chicane. There you go, 15 seconds the gap now, so even more. But yeah, let's see the gap between Roni and Magic and how that is progressing. Roni's got 7 seconds to Motomakari. Magic has not closed up too much, and Teemu Soini seems to have dropped back a little bit. So these guys lapping relatively similar pace at this point. Not really much to choose between them. Only that Soini has made an error somewhere and has lost a couple of seconds to Magic, so it was looking good that Soini might be able to have a fight for P5, but for now that is going to be put on hold. Yasin is back out on the track with a fresh car after that long pit stop to try and set some decent lap times and hold on to P7 on the road. Red Fox is still lapping, though 2 laps down after a couple of rejoins. But it does look like Mantas is able to pull out over a second. Well, actually, looking at the timing, almost 2 seconds a lap faster than anybody else on track at the moment, which is absolutely fabulous pace from Mantas at the moment, the Born to Race driver, who we've seen up at the top of a growing number of championships in Live for Speed at the moment. Having a super time in Roni's Tuesday Fun Race. A great time at the moment in Fragmaster's GTI Thursday as well. And seems to be showing everybody what he's made of in a large variety of different car classes, and yet again today nobody appears to have shown up with any sort of tools to try to better Mantas, as we look to Soini now, who has closed back up to the back of Magic. It looks like Magic has lost around about 3 seconds to Roni, so this time it's a mistake for Magic as Soini bounces over the chicane. You can see how much grip there are on these tiny little tyres and almost rolls it over. But we are going to get a fight for P5 then, between World Class Lions and Race Green Autosports. Teemu Soini, the Finnish driver. Vastly experienced, but we don't get to see him in too many wheel-to-wheel battles. Maybe today he will get the limelight for just one of those. As we go on board, you'll be able to hear an interesting thing about this car is that the clutch is remarkably weak. It does not respond well to flat shifting, and you can hear as the gear changes happen that Soini is having a little bit of trouble with his clutch. You can hear the gears whining a little bit as he changes up, as the engine just cannot put all the power that it needs through the clutch. Super powerful little car this, but the clutch just a little bit weak, and yeah, there again, just a little bit uncomfortable to hear when you're not able to deliver all of the power to the wheels. As we ride on board onto lap 10 now for these drivers. 9 laps to go, including this one. And Soini, difficult line into the chicane. Wasn't following in the wheel tracks of Magic, was driving his own line and couldn't straight line it as much as he might have wanted to. And as we watch these guys, Mantas has reached the top of the circuit. He's already heading through the triple chicane at the top of the circuit. Here he comes. Here he goes. But these boys are down on the bridge, approaching the support pit lane, which will become our actual pit lane for the next round in June, when we use the Acosta Starlin mod by Martin Capal at Fernbay Rallycross. Oh, Soini yet again. Oh, almost losing the car. Has to use the tyre stack on the left-hand side to sort of stabilise the car, but a few too many risks for Soini there. It is like threading a needle. Made slightly more difficult when you are following someone, but Soini should be well able to negotiate that first chicane. He has done it a lot of times in the past. But, you know, in the pressure of a race, sometimes it can just go a little bit wonky. As Mantas has put a lap over Cubs now on track. As Mantas drops a wheel on the gravel. But no matter. 21 seconds adrift. Absolutely fantastic lead at the moment. If he keeps going like this, the gap will be over half a minute by the end of the race. That's the Muli, just going through the chicane once again. Oh, hits the tyres hard. It's going to be so stressful for these guys now. They do not want to drop out of the race at this point. But 23 seconds adrift. And, well, Themuli is going to be scratching his head about the pace of Mantas. Yasin's going in the pit lane again because he's been over or something. He's got a lot of, well, did have a lot of damage. There you go, as the car pops itself back into shape as he takes up a spot in the pit lane again. But yeah, his tyres are getting quite cold. May consider changing to R3s. Roni with the R3s on the front with healthy tyres, but just really at this point unable to convert that into pace to get away from Magic and Soini, who are both back with him. Definitely getting close. I mean, they're teasing us a lot here, teasing us for a battle for P4, but it's just not materialising. Roni's just able to stick to his own pace, and Magic and Soini hit tyres or fall off the road or all manner of other things, and aren't giving us that fight we want. So head down, see if Magic and Soini can catch up to Roni and give us some entertainment for P4 before too long, as they all come up to start finish now to begin lap 12 for themselves. Roni first, then Magic, then Soini. Soini goes off the track at the exit of the chicane and just loses a little bit more time as a result. And let's hear how that clutch is getting on. We should hear a gear change onto the bridge. Well, not too bad. A bit deep into the hairpin there, compromised on the exit. So at this point I think our only hope really rests with Magic, so let's see what's going on. Soini now lifting for his gear shifts a little bit as we watch them all come through the chicane, no problem. Well, let's reset the order as Mantas comes out of the final corner to make it 6 to go in this one. On to lap 13 he goes. 30 seconds now, the gap between himself and ZFRL, that is Zafiralis Themuli, whose onboard you can see on twitch.tv/Themuli_, if you so desire. And behind Themuli, it's his teammate Motta Makari, who's still with him, to be fair, one of the closer gaps between the cars that we have at the moment. 3 seconds back in P3 at the moment, a country mile ahead of Roni. 10 seconds almost, in fact over 10 seconds the gap now between Roni and the podium. And then Magic and Soini, who are scratching at the heels of Roni but not able to get close enough to effect a pass just yet. We've been teased a couple of times in the half an hour that we've been racing so far, as Soini yet again up on 2 wheels onto the grass through a tyre stack and just not having a good time of it, not able to do a consistent lap unfortunately, and that's making it quite difficult as Cubs is overtaken again by our leaders. And Yasin, having been through the pit lane twice to repair damage, once for some contact with the wall and once for rolling over, is down in P7, a lap off the lead. Cubs has had similar troubles and yet again goes off into the runoff. But yeah, Mantas absolutely storming pace at the moment. Is there anybody that can stop his charge at the front of the championship in this series, I wonder? Well, after another strong performance today, he will have a pretty strong hold on the Drivers' Championship standings. We'll have to wait and see if there's anybody that can challenge him for the remaining 7 rounds of the year. We're broadcasting one a month. All, in fact, of the rounds of the Zafiralis All Rounder Championship, which happens on the first Monday of every month. Next time out, we are driving the Acosta Starlin at Fern Bay Rallycross. A tricky car to drive, but it will be its home territory on a loose surface. So join us for that, please. And if you fancy making an entry, well, you can check out all the information of this series on the Live for Speed website, lfs.net. As Cubs has now retired from the race, unfortunately, we are down to 8 drivers, and Mantas has set a PB now, so he's not just setting fastest laps, he's setting personal bests. A 2:33.99, which as it stands, that lap time is an entire well, pretty much 2.5 seconds faster than second place driver Thamuli. That lap time was 2.5 seconds faster than Thamuli's best lap in this race. So Mantas is absolutely flying. And to be fair, it's a long lap. That is an accentuated gap for most tracks that we visit, but still, in racing terms, that is a week between P1 and P2 at the moment. And I'm happy to report that Roney is still comfortably driving in P4. Just seems to be doing enough, putting enough, keeping enough of a gap between him and his teammate. For now, still got time. And as we've seen from a number of other drivers, mistakes can come at any point. It doesn't really matter. The track is unforgiving. A tiny glitch in your steering input, a missed braking zone, a missed gear, as Roney demonstrating that very nicely by going up into 2 wheels and then the other 2 through the second chicane. Tricky little track this. And now the race green teammates are closer than they've been in a long time. The gap under a second now. As Mantas comes out of the final corner to cross start finish to make it 2 to go. 5 minutes of racing to go in this race. Another PB for Mantas, a 2:33.73, taking another 2.5 tenths off his PB on that lap and cementing his cementing his win. If he can manage 2 more laps, that is an absolutely crazy gap. 37 seconds now over Thamuli. It must be quite difficult for the rest of the field to really comprehend or even understand how Mantas even does this. As Thamuli sets a 2:37.02, almost 4 seconds adrift of Mantas's last lap time. Absolutely crazy pace at this late stage. But I think attention deserves to go to Roney right now, who is trying to stay ahead of his very committed teammate. He's had plenty of chances to try and catch up, but thus far. Just hasn't been able to be consistent enough to close up the gap. But now we're down to 0.8 of a second between Magic and Roni. And let's see if you can get there and try and make a move in the last couple of corners of this race. Super close on pace, these two, considering the gaps elsewhere. And they just so happen to be teammates. And, well, that's the closest we've seen two cars in a long time. Magic using the age-old tactic of using the Armco barrier to slow the car down a bit more into braking zones. That reminds me of doing some GT2 racing at Kyoto, at K32, as Magic is now really closing in, visibly closing in. We'll cut away briefly. Oh no, we can't now because Magic's actually going for the move. Mantas is going across start finish to go on to the final lap, but we have an on-track overtake, and it's Magic who, pretty much at the dying stages of this race, has made an overtake, a move for P4 on the road. Is Roni going to let it stick? Well, I don't think he's going to have much of a choice. Mantas onto lap 16 of 18 here. Three to go in this race. Apologies if I said fastest final lap. That was getting a bit far ahead of myself. Yeah, 2.5 laps to go in this race, and Magic has done the job on Roni. Oh, but he's rolled it at turn 1. He had the position made, and well, that's a really odd place to go over, but it's so easily done. And unfortunately from P4, after working so hard to get the place, he's rolled it at probably one of the most trivial corners on the lap. A straightforward hairpin, and he's gone over. So that will be the end of Magic's race. He's sat on the wall on his roof. Nobody's going to come and help you, unfortunately. We knew this was going to happen. This track is notorious, especially in the NGT class, as we call it, with the XFR and the UFR. These cars prone to rolling even on the tiniest of curbs. The baby GTR class, well, Mantas is absolutely, well, no issues at all thus far. 42 seconds in the lead. He's going to drive past Magic's stricken car in a moment. Magic has just written in chat calling assistance. Well, you'll have to find someone pretty generous to give up any more time to come and find you. If he stays on his roof, he probably, in terms of the championship, might be classified higher up than Red Fox. He will have completed more laps of the race, but we will have to wait and see as Mantas goes on to the penultimate lap, 17 of 18, and goes in to help Magic. This is an unconventional race we are witnessing here, ladies and gents. He knows he's got 40 seconds. Oh my, what am I watching here? Have you ever seen this before? The leader of a race attempting to help a car stricken at the first corner. He might actually manage this. Oh no, I think he got him into a little bit of a tricky position. Thamuli has about 15 seconds before he gets to the first corner. No, he's given up. Well, that was a fair attempt. He's put Magic into a little bit of an easier position. But I don't think Thamuli will be extending the arm of help. No, he doesn't. He drives straight past. Ah, Mantas He gave that a good 3 attempts and still managed to stay in the lead. And how big is his lead currently? Well, still over 10 seconds that he's got. Oh, and he spun. He spun into the right-hander. He's keeping me on the edge of my seat, that's for sure. Completely looped the car on the brakes, so it does need to be a bit careful over the chicane now. Yeah, that looks okay, but it does look like Red Fox might be able to lend a hand, as he is plenty of laps down. So yeah, an unconventional race for sure that we are seeing here. It's descended into a little bit of a jolly. But I think Mantas was looking for something entertaining to do rather than just driving laps on his own. And why not? He's still got a 10-second lead over anybody else. And it looks like help has arrived for Magic again. So while they do that, let's keep an eye on the rest of the drivers. Mantas leads ahead of Thamuli, then Motomacari, 16 seconds the gap. Then a further 9 seconds back to Roni, who did lose P4 to his teammate Magic, who then subsequently rolled at the first corner, who is still trying to be rescued by Red Fox. Then we've got Yasin in P6, the last driver that is actually currently racing, as Red Fox smashes Magic outside the track. So I think that's the end of that. Well, here comes Mantas onto the final lap then. Well in the lead. And these two boys ahead need to be a bit careful because the leader is coming through. That wasn't careful. And Red Fox will get in trouble for that, I'm sure, for doing sub-racing speed in the middle of the track as the leader was coming through. Well, with 7 other cars on the track, you can't really excuse that behaviour, so I'll say no more. But that is a little bit silly, as Magic is currently exploring the scenery around Fern Bay. Only a few corners to go for the Born to Race driver. And even though the gap's come down to 4.5 seconds, it is still a comfortable lead for Mantas Smarkvicius. Plenty of bumps and bruises in that car now. And presumably quite a bit of damage from the contact with the back of Red Fox's car, but some of the bumps and scrapes were voluntarily inflicted by trying to help Magic out of a tricky spot. But in a time that will be slightly slower than it would have been had he not tried to help his fallen comrade. Mantas will still come across the line victorious, sliding out of the final corner, and deservedly so. Class of the field once again. Mantas, flashing his headlights, comes across start finish to win round number 5. of the Zafiralis All Rounder Championship. Very well deserved indeed. Very nicely done. And we'll have to wait and see who comes across the line next. It's Thamuli, followed by Motta Macari. Then we will have Roni. And even though there were only a couple of cars on the track, somehow we missed that Roni was passed somewhere by Teemu Soini. So too busy paying attention to Mantas and whatever else was going on to notice that Soini managed to steal P4 and Roni lost a good 10 seconds or something there in the end. But that is everybody, I do believe. And Magic, unfortunately, didn't end up finishing in the end there. But here are your final race results for round number 5. Mantas in 47 minutes and 13 seconds. Could have been well under 47 seconds. But there we are, 3 seconds back to Thamuli, then Motta Macari, Teemu Soini, Roni, Yasin, Magic, Cubs, Red Fox, Lorenzo and Breca are your 11 finishers, or 11 people who started the race and therefore will earn some sort of classification. And the fastest lap went to Mantas, a 2:33.73, a PB set during the race, along with a couple of other PBs that go next to his name. A very impressive drive from Mantas. He had a 40-second gap, more than 40-second gap at one point during that race. So outstanding pace by him. The results here don't show the advantage that he had, really. But that is that for the 5th round, as our drivers line up on start-finish for us to take a look at. There they are. I'm not sure what Red Fox is doing on the podium, but alas, we have Mantas and Thamuli there. Sorry, Motta Macari on the podium. Not sure where Thamuli's just rounding the final corner to come and join them, and we'll give him the airtime as he drives up to the podium. I think he's going to go to we'll go to the other side of Mantas. And there we go. Your podium for round 5, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, then please join us again next month for the Acosta Starling at Fern Bay Rallycross on June the 3rd. That should be a fun one to watch. So, from all of us here at Sim Broadcast, we hope you have a lovely rest of your evening, whatever it is you're planning to do. And we'll see you on the next one, which is tomorrow evening for Roni's Tuesday fun race. And that'll be at Fern Bay Black again, but with the XL paved edition. But before we do sign off for the evening, a little bit of an announcement from the race screen team. I will let the trailer do all the talking. Enjoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 5th edition of the 400 kilometers of West Hill. Gentlemen, start your engines!
Yes, there you go. The West Hill 400 in place in a couple of weeks' time. Will be here for your viewing pleasure. And yeah, we thank Lorenzo for putting that trailer together. That was a very exciting trailer, a very nice trailer put together by Lorenzo for the West Hill 400, which 400 kilometres of West Hill, should I say its proper title, on the 19th of May. So not this Sunday coming, next Sunday. So we hope to join you for that one. I hope you can join us for that one as well. But from all of us here on Sim Broadcast, we hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening. This was the ZFRL All Rounder Championship Round 5. We'll see you in a month's time for the next one. But yeah, join us on the channel tomorrow night for more Fern Bay Black action, this time on the XL paved alternative variant of it with the XRR. It's going to be epic. We'll see you there. Have a good one. Good night.